Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, my name's Tori. I told you we're gonna stay consistent. We're back again with another video. Today though, I want to talk to you about crested geckos. Honestly, if you know me, if you follow me anywhere else, then you'll know that crested geckos they're like my soul animal. Like if I could only keep one species as basic as it is, it'll probably be crested geckos. It definitely wasn't my first animal. I think it was like my third reptile I ever got was a crested gecko, but I now have like 30. I have so many. I will get into it and explain later on in this video, but essentially I was breeding for a while and I no longer am because of personal kind of reasons. Again, we'll get into it. If you don't follow me on other socials, we'll be telling the story here. But before I sell and like pass on a lot of my geckos, I want to show you. I have so many cuties and I have so many gorgeous geckos that I haven't shown yet on this channel, so I really want to show them before they go on to their new homes. There will of course be a lot that are staying with me and some fan favorites, if you will, that I really don't think I'll be parting with. But I'm going to be doing my general gecko maintenance today and I'll show you every single one of my geckos. I obviously keep other species of geckos as well, but this is strictly crested geckos today, so if you don't like crested geckos, this is not going to be the video for you. Firstly, I'm actually going to prepare some of their food. I actually feed strictly Pangea and Rapashi. This Pangea is the watermelon flavour, which my geckos go absolutely crazy for. And they're eating a bit less at the moment because it's winter. Yeah, this encourages them to eat. They absolutely love this. To be honest, they love pretty much all Pangea products. They can be a bit fussy with Rapashi. I do try and, with my babies that I've had hatched, make sure they're having both so that they go onto their homes obviously not being fussy, but a lot of the ones I bought as adults only eat Pangea. I use a little bowl. I did for a while use like a hair dye bottle, like a condiment bottle. However, I just felt like it wasn't clean enough. I don't know, I feed a lot of geckos and I've just found this is like a super easy way for me to do it personally, although I might switch back to doing a condiment bottle when I only have a few geckos. So a little life hack, I actually put my water in first. I've just found that it like mixes better that way, and I just want to use water straight from my misting bottle because it has Rectisafe already in it and the tap obviously does not. I put a fairly decent amount of water. I'll also be like misting all their enclosures as well, and then I just mix in, honestly I have to use like half a pack of Pangea every single time I feed them, which is crazy. But as I said, yeah, at the moment I currently have like 30 and I am currently breeding them, which I won't be soon. It is really sad, but yeah, I just mix it in until it goes like, I'll kind of show you the consistency, because that was like something I struggled with when I first got crested geckos. Was it was always way too thick, I think. Surprise, we need more Pangea. But I also fill up rather than using silicone dishes, which again, now that I'm no longer breeding, these sort of things will change, but I use these paper sauce, like they're like the little sauce things you get from McDonald's, right? I don't know if they still do that, but like back in the day I used to get my sauce in like these little containers, just because it's like £10 for like 250 of them and they last me a really long time, and then I can just discard of them and it's fully biodegradable, rather than before I've gone through phases of using like little plastic ones, which although they kind of stay more fresh for longer, are not good for the environment. So I just use the paper ones, and absolute shocker there, we've finished that bag of Pangea. I pretty much saw that coming. But now we have to make sure that we have enough diet, because I need to order some more, and that is all that I have right now to feed all 30 or however many. This video will be my tally. This video will tell me how many crested geckos I have. Okay, now I've got this full bowl of Pangea, and this is the kind of consistency, like not runny, but not thick, you know, kind of like sauce. Okay, so this video wouldn't be right without starting off with my absolute favourite gecko ever, and this is Phoenix. Phoenix wasn't my first gecko. I have had her maybe like 2 years, maybe slightly less. She's very chunky, she's very hungry all the time. She's some gorgeous colours. I know I'm biased, but you know, she's a super chill gecko. You will probably notice a lot of people do say to me that all my geckos are very chilled, but I do handle them a lot from when they're babies all the time, so they're all pretty handleable and pretty tame. She is a lily white crested gecko. I think when I got her she cost me about £200, and she'll be one of the few that don't go anywhere. You couldn't offer me any amount of money for this gecko, I would not give her to you. She's absolutely gorgeous. She has bitten me a few times, to be fair, but a crested gecko bite really isn't anything. They don't really have any teeth, so it definitely doesn't hurt. They have like some teeth stumps, but like not It's not like getting bitten by another one of your reptiles. Like, crested geckos do not hurt at all. She has bitten me a few times just because she's super food motivated, but she's also just a very chilled lizard. Was originally bought for a breeding project. She will not be bred from, but she will stay as a pet in my house, and I love her. I post her all the time. I just think she's so gorgeous. I don't think the camera does her any justice really, but yeah, she's a super chilled gecko. We love her. And this is Phoenix. This is when you see that I'm really guilty of spoon feeding my geckos, which I will just say that you do have to be a bit careful with, because your gecko can become like reliant on you doing this, and then you might notice them not really eating for themselves. But I am so guilty of it. I'm like, if she wants to eat from the spoon, let her eat from the spoon. Oh, stop focusing on me. There we go. Oh my god, I'm doing what the makeup influencers do, but with a crested gecko. Oh! Oh my god. Next we have Venus, this chunk of also a female. She's super far down, but she honestly always is. She's a really chunky red tricolour. Again, she's super handleable. Honestly, a lot of my crested geckos are. I think I've just been blessed. Maybe I'm the crested gecko whisperer. She has been bred from this year. I did have a few babies from her. However, as I said, I'm not breeding anymore, and she will be kept as a pet only because she's honestly just a delightful girl. She is super lazy. She doesn't really explore that much of her enclosure. She's pretty much always in the same spot, but we love her all the same. But as you can see, she's got some absolutely gorgeous colorings, and she's definitely one of the favorites over on my TikTok page. But yeah, as I mentioned, and I've kind of spoke about over on my Instagram, I am no longer going to be breeding next year. Well, this year now, it's 2024. That is because, as you'll know, I am pretty active on social media. I post on here, on Instagram and on TikTok, and unfortunately I've had a lot of people asking me about crested geckos, not actually being interested in crested geckos and just kind of wanting to talk to me because, you know, I post on social media, like maybe they have reptiles and kind of want like a bit of a reptile friend, which, as much as I love that, has made it very difficult for me in terms of breeding. Not her dribbling. It has made it very difficult for me in terms of breeding and in terms of who is actually serious about wanting a crested gecko or not. And it's made me feel like I'm working like double time because I'm trying to sieve out who is serious about buying a gecko and who is just trying to talk to me, and who is like technically just wasting my time. And unfortunately, I had an incident towards the end of last year where somebody I believed really wanted a crested gecko and pretty much did everything but pay a deposit. You know, had an enclosure, had sent me pictures and everything else. Actually ended up meeting up with me with no interest of buying a crested gecko, and actually had some not so nice alternate motives, which I won't discuss too much in detail. The situation has been dealt with offline, but it did put me in a situation where I just kind of had to decide, you know, do I want to breed these animals or do I want to carry on posting on social media? Because as much as I don't think I'm that big of a deal when it comes to social media, there are people online, unfortunately, who are not so nice or have alternate motives, and this person did, and that has led to me feeling very uncomfortable meeting up with anyone in person to sell geckos, which isn't fair and isn't really ideal either. Like, I could go the route of just doing couriers, but that adds a massive price addition to any of the babies that I produce. I could go with just meeting publicly, although after what happened, I'm not really comfortable with that either. So I've just kind of made the decision, the difficult decision, that I'm just going to focus on my social media and educating and what I started doing first, which is, you know, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and go that route and stop breeding, which has meant that a lot of my crested geckos who were bought for breeding purposes are now going to new homes. I am vet checking pretty much everyone. I want to make sure they all go to the best homes possible, because a lot of them I formed an attachment to because it was always meant to be their offspring that was sold. So I've grown an attachment to quite a few, not some more than others. You know, Venus was always just meant to be a breeding crested gecko, and as you can see, she is a very fond pet now. But unfortunately, yeah, it just has put me in the situation where I needed to decide, and I chose to social media, and I just need to be a bit more careful in terms of my safety online, and that of course means not meeting up with people, which unfortunately when you're breeding crested geckos is kind of inevitable. I don't ever want to, you know, stop them from going to good homes because I'm too nervous to meet up with someone. So it's just a decision that I've made based on this one experience, which is unfortunate, but does mean that If you didn't know, crested geckos have little tiny nails and one of them just went right into my nose. But yeah, that is that story of why I will no longer be breeding crested geckos and why a lot of these are now on my morph market and looking for new homes, in case you're wondering. And we'll put little Venus away. This lovely lady is Luna. She is an absolute stunner. Although I haven't had her long, she was actually my most recent unplanned addition. Absolutely gorgeous. She's not as tame as the other two. She is a bit more jumpy, but she is stunning. I have thought about keeping her just because of how stunning she is. However, she would be an amazing addition to a breeding project. She has so many good traits in her, including soft scale, which is a type of like scale marking on their head. I won't bore you with the morph details in this video, but you can pretty much tell that she's a stunner, right? I actually got her because, long story short, I put a deposit on something, I can no longer have that thing, and so they gave me her. And she is stunning. She's my most recent addition, as I said, and we'll be going hopefully to a new home. I'm saying this about them all. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll keep them. Putting my foot down, she will be finding a new home, but she is an absolutely gorgeous gecko, and she's super, super friendly as well. Like, a lot of people's breeders are not so friendly, and I do have to say be a bit careful when it comes to buying ex-breeders because they don't get handled as much as the babies do. She's definitely a bit jumpy, but she's definitely calmed down a lot since she's been with me. But yeah, you do have to be a bit cautious when you're getting ex-breeders as pets, as they can be a little bit jumpy and you might need to put more work and effort in to tame them down. But she's absolutely gorgeous. She's a sub-adult, so she's not fully grown yet, and she would have been ready to breed this season, so hopefully she finds a lovely home. But I just wanted to show you her because she's fucking stunning. She needs a moment of silence. Okay. There is also Nebula, who is another tricolour. I'll pop a picture of her here. She is definitely on the side of a gecko that wasn't handled too much before I got her and is super, super flighty, and therefore with the lights and everything set up, I'm not going to handle her. However, she's absolutely gorgeous. I would love for her to go probably back into a breeding project. I think that would be great for her because she's not so handleable. Although I think with work, she would also make an excellent gecko, and she's just, I'm biased, but she's just stunning. Sticking with absolute stunners, this is Griffin, who is a red phantom lily white. He is absolutely gorgeous, and to this day is probably the most money I've ever spent on a gecko. He is stunning. Again, he is the third gecko that I'm actually contemplating not giving away because he is such a handleable and lovely guy. And also, I've had him since he was a wee baby. I love him so much. So I'm thinking if I was to keep three, it would be Venus, Phoenix, and Griffin. Maybe you can help me decide, but if I do keep three, he shall be the third. He has been with me since the beginning of my TikTok journey. I used to do TikTok lives with him, like solely him when he was a baby. So I do have a definite fond attachment to him. Not that it's about money, but he is worth a lot of money and would make a great addition to a breeding project. However, he's just a handsome little man. He is quite small considering how old he is. He's probably about 1.5 years. He definitely had some more growing to do. He's definitely been a slow grower, and he also like really fires up and fires down depending on his mood. He will go from like a really pastel-y pinkish color, almost like white all over, to kind of what he is now, which is, because I've just recently sprayed his enclosure, he'll fire up a more reddish color with staying like whites on the side, but like the contrast is crazy. Yeah, as you can see, super tame, super gentle. I mean, this is what crested geckos can be like if you put in the time, but it's just about how much time and how much handling you put in. And also it does come down to personality. I do have some geckos I've had since a baby which are nothing like Griffin. Everyone always says Griffin is one of the tamest, loveliest geckos when I'm on lives. And also I have this thing where I give him a finger and he will just sit on my finger, and I could literally do a whole video with him just on my finger. One of the first photos I actually have of him is him just sat on my finger like this. He just kind of grabs my finger. He doesn't go anywhere. I don't know. I don't know why, but he just sits up like this. And sometimes he waves. Can you wave? Say hi. Griffin is a paid actor. Can you say hi? Give them a wave. Hi. He's such a good boy. Oh, should I keep him? Should I keep him as well? The goodest gecko. It's times like this that I really am upset that I won't be able to breed anymore. I think seeing like little baby griffins would be just an amazing experience. But I do think as well, like, everything happens for a reason, and I've said maybe I was just meant to focus on social media. Maybe that is just where my calling is at, and you know, you can only do so many things, so maybe it was a sign. What do we think, Griffin? He'll literally just let me like hold him. unbothered king. Next up we have Orbit. Orbit was Venus's. Orbit is the definition of a not so tame gecko. He does settle down. He'll probably settle down by the minute I finish talking, but it does take him a minute to calm down. When he first comes out of his enclosure, he is usually in a bit of a panic. So we just give him a minute to calm down, sir. So Orbit was actually paired up with Venus this year and was her man's. However, Orbit is now looking to go on to a new home and is an excellent example of a red tricolour. He isn't even properly fired up and you can see just like how crazy his colours are. The splat. But yeah, he's a gorgeous gecko. He needs a bit more one-on-one time if he was to be a pet. However, he does calm down, I promise. I think like this is honestly how a pretty normal crested gecko acts. I just am blessed with a lot of tame ones and like ones that I've really handled since they were a baby. So I have one or two like Orbit here that I got as an adult who really weren't tamed down and weren't handled. Very loony, especially when you compare them to my other geckos. I don't really like handling him too much with all the lights on, so I am going to go pop him away, but this is Orbit. This right here is Pluto, who is actually the first frog butt of today. That is just when crested geckos drop their tail, and if you didn't know, crested geckos don't actually grow their tail back, so she'll be like this forever. Nothing wrong with her, she's completely healthy, but it does leave a little stump at the back there. Again, another high extreme Harlequin that I bought to put towards breeding projects, who will now be looking for a new forever home. She's an example of a baby I have handled a lot, however she's always been more on the flighty side in comparison to some of the others, and did actually drop her tail with me literally walking past the enclosure one day. But as you can see, she's come a long way now and she's super tolerable to being handled. But I do think the frog butts are so cute, bless them. She also loves her bugs, this one, but this is Pluto. You can see she's got a couple dow spots on her as well, but as I said, she's one of my more nervous ones, so I'm definitely gonna go and pop her back just because I have a lot of lights going on. It is like 2 AM right now, so they're in the middle of the night, they're super active, and she's wondering why there are bright lights in her face. The next gecko I have to show you is Comet. Definitely another one I've considered keeping. He is such a stunning boy. He is obviously a tricolour, and again, like pretty much all of them, is super handleable and has really gotten used to me over the past year. I did actually buy him with Nebula, who I showed you earlier, and big jump. And although I would love to keep him, I have made the decision. Why do they always aim for the face? Like, what is it about my face? Yeah, although I would love to keep him, I have made the difficult decision to rehome him. I do think he'd make both an excellent pet and a breeding project. As you can see, he's a stunning boy, there is no doubt. I think it's insane how far we've come in terms of morphs for crested geckos. Like, it doesn't even look real. Like, he looks crazy. He doesn't even look real to me. Like, he just looks so stunning, and he's a proper, oh my god, okay. I'm gonna pop him back because I think he's I think he's a bit excited to see me, so yeah, I am gonna pop him back. This next boy is one of the two Dalmatians I have that are both being sold. If you know me, then you probably know this gecko. This is Apollo. Definitely one I've considered keeping, but did decide would be better to go to a new home, mainly because if I decided to keep all the ones I want to keep, I'd have at least 10. But this is Apollo. He's pretty well known on my page. I've posted him quite a bit. What is it with my face? He's a super well behaved boy, super tame. He actually has a little heart on the side of his face, which has always been one of my favorite features on any gecko. I do also have a girlfriend for him. I also have for sale, who I was planning on breeding this year. However, as I said, I won't be doing that, and he will be finding a new home. But this is what a Dalmatian crested gecko looks like. Not everyone loves Dalmatian crested geckos. I personally do. I personally love the spots, especially when they're on like a paler background like him. But the thing about morphs, obviously I only really have dealt with crested geckos, but I'm sure this applies to pretty much all reptiles, is that it really does come down to personal preference, and some people don't like spots and they try and eliminate spots from their lines entirely, whereas I think spots are super cute. As I mentioned, this is Apollo's girlfriend or meant to be girlfriend. They weren't destined to be, clearly. But this is Pongo. She is actually my other frog butt, meaning she dropped her tail. It's completely healed now. It's completely fine and healthy. What are you looking at? Jesus. Super, super spotty. She's more of like a yellowy orange base, as you can see, compared to Apollo. If she doesn't go to a breeding project, I'll still be happy, but I do think she's a beautiful example of a Dalmatian, and soon to be Super Dal. Honestly, I would question whether she would be that. If you didn't know, Super Dals are basically Dalmatians that have more than like 100 spots on them, and honestly I'd say she's borderline that. She's super, super spotty. Honestly, super gorgeous, but is up for sale, and one of the geckos I've had like the least amount of time as well, so a bit easier to part with the ones that I've had for less than a year. The ones that I brought home in 2023 are definitely a bit easier for me to come to terms with not having, but it doesn't mean I'll miss her any less. Finally, we're moving into the babies that I have bred in 2023 and that will be looking for new homes. However, having said that, this is one of the babies that I'm contemplating keeping. I will definitely keep them until they get a bit bigger. I obviously want to not only make sure they're a healthy weight before shipping, but I do want to kind of see their colours really come through and pop. If you didn't know, their colours as a baby really change, and this baby is actually out of my 2 tricolours, so I really do expect some gorgeous colours from her. I'm saying her, but she is unsexed. I do like to make sure my geckos are about 5 to 6 grams before letting them go to anybody, or 8 grams if they're kind of getting cory. But you can see she's absolutely gorgeous. She's really got that pinstripe, which is when they have the defined line down their back, as well as that tri-colouring, which is when they have 3 solid colours. It's a bit more difficult to show you her compared to the others, but you can see how gorgeous she is. This is another one of my babies who's actually a sibling of the previous one. I am absolutely obsessed with the colouring. This will be the same kind of tri-coloury vibe. She will definitely come out with more colours, but she, as you can probably tell, is much smaller, so she hasn't yet come out with all those colours yet. She definitely will do in the future. I think she's such a gorgeous colour now, but she really will. Jesus. But she definitely will come out with those colours a lot more in the future. Another thing that's like makes it quite difficult with cresty breeding is just how much they come out with those colours. So you might let something go and then see it months down the line and it could look completely different and so much more gorgeous. Not that they're all not really cute. Again, a lot of these babies are either too young to be sold or would have been kept, and I reckon I would have kept this one for sure. If I go like this, like the beauty gurus do, you can see how stunning it is. That like really strong pinstripe on the back is so pretty. And if you couldn't tell, babies are always going to be a lot more jumpy because, you know, they have that fight or flight instinct a lot more. They haven't been handled as much, and they're just a lot more flighty, a lot more scared, as I would be if I was this small, really. But that is one of my little babies who will be staying with me for the foreseeable future. He's definitely nowhere near ready to go to a new home, but this will be another baby who, once they're big enough and I'm comfortable with, will be listed for rehoming. They'll definitely come out in colours a lot more, and I reckon actually will come out with a lot more spots. A lot of Dalmatians actually do with age come out with a lot more spots, which is really cool. You can kind of see like little freckles on her head, which I reckon will equivalent to a lot more Dal spots in the future. She's a good example of a baby who's super handleable, as I was saying before. It definitely does somewhat come down to personality of the gecko, and this is an example of a gecko who is super chilled. So she'll definitely make an amazing pet one day, and I'm just obsessed with her spots. I love it. Here is another tricolour from that original pairing that I was showing you, the one that I may potentially hold one back from. Ooh, a lot more jumpy. This is what I mean, they come down to personality, but this one is a little bit younger, as you can see. Literally the size of my hand. Again, I want to hold this one back until is really showing those colours, it's really healthy and is ready for a new home. But another one of, oh my god, he jumped in the food. Oh my god, why is this one so jumpy? I knew it wouldn't end with like them all being peaceful. Super jumpy. Okay, there we go. Peaceful. Obsessed with this pairing. I would fully do it again next year. They are absolutely beautiful geckos. Oh, we're slipping. Okay, this one's gonna go back home before we lose her, because it is the middle of the night, and if I lost a crested gecko right now, oh no. And absolutely last but not least, and my final baby who will be looking for a home probably in the summertime, is this gorgeous Dalmatian partial pinstripe, whose clutch mate we saw earlier. again, I feel like I've left this way too late in the night. If you didn't know, crested geckos are nocturnal, so they're super active at night time. So I'm now handling them while they're trying to like hunt and they're like living their best life. At least if you handle them during the day, they're normally a lot more chilled. Yeah, this is the final baby, and we'll just pop him back into his home with some food. And we actually had enough Pangea to feed everyone, which is a blessing. Okay, so that, you guys, is all of my crested geckos. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm actually gonna feed this last bit of Pangea to my emerald tree skinks, who actually can eat this as well. I don't offer it to them every day like I do my crested geckos, but we'll just pop in what's remaining of this, and that is all of my geckos fed. But I really hope you enjoyed meeting all of my crested geckos. I wanted to show you all before they all go to their new homes. Also, so that I can look back on this video and remember all the beautiful little cresty faces I've had over the years. If you'd like any more Meet My Pets videos, definitely let me know, because I do have multiple, like leopard geckos, African fat-tail geckos. If you'd like to, please like and subscribe, because it does really help me out. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.